Given the name of Lords of the End Times is, well, Lords of the End Times, and we've seen now Nagash, and they officially announced Boris Bringer's gonna be bringing his Todd all over the DLC. I mean, it all points to there most likely being something Chaos included. I'm not the biggest tabletop knowledge knower, big brain fella, so you guys will have to let me know down in the comments below what there is from a Chaos perspective that they could potentially still add. But today we're going to take a look at this replay from Scarbrand. He's taking the Warriors of Chaos into Kislev. Very thematic matchup. Got Sartharil, the Everwatcher, leading the way here. Front line of Marauders. And then a big old section of Elite Cavalry. Very cool. A couple of Skull Crushers here. Regiment of Renowned Skull Crushers. And the Regiment of Renowned Swords of Chaos as well. Pretty rare pick. We do have Guardian and some other benefits here. We've also got a Hell Cannon. A little bit tricky to use on this map with all the trees and forests scattered around. Could potentially block some shots. Of course, the Hell Cannon does have a nice arc of fire, but still, the fighting is happening close to the trees. Could have some issues. Kislev posing Chaos here with an Ice Witch of Tempest. We've got some Cosmic Dervishes here. Griffin Legion as well. Winged Lancers. And it looks like Wolfheart's Ambushers. Or not Wolfhearts, the Wolfhearts, actually, ambushers. Yeah, Marcus nowhere to be found. We've also got the Regiment of Renowned Streltsy, some Armored Cossars, things of the woods, in the woods, pretty soon. They push forward here. Yeah, pretty good build from Kislev, pretty well balanced overall. The Voidanov's Brawler's Streltsy is definitely an interesting pick. Again, somewhat uncommon. They do have the suppressed contact effect, just great stats overall. Are pretty expensive, but yeah, Hell Cannon taking some pretty good value out of them initially. It's going to be interesting to see how this force fares once it makes contact. Marauders aren't likely to last long here. Kislev's got some pretty good quality all the way around. Not the most armor piercing in the world, but plenty of warriors who are going to be plenty cost effective here against these elite heavy cavalry if they get bogged down. So let's see, speaking of getting bogged down, Ice Witch here with Lore of Tempest has Blizzard, Hailstorm, so yeah, no direct slowing effects besides the contact effect on Blizzard, which has a pretty long spin up time. It's going to be tricky to hit cavalry with that, but yeah, Voidanov's just getting absolutely shellacked here, although a little bit of a blunder by Sartharil, gets a little bit too close, gets that suppressed contact effect, and it's going to start taking some massive, massive damage. Great focus fire here from the Kislev player, capitalizing on Scarbrand's mistake. But let's see how things continue to play out. Right now, Kislev player taking their time approaching, kind of echelon formation. Not really spreading these Winged Lancers out too far to the flanks so far, but towards the Chaos are going to get a little bit of an awkward charge and then immediately nope out, trying to draw out those things in the woods. But the Marauders get a decent contact against those Kislev warriors, charge back in support. Yeah, nice kind of feinting so far from the Elite Cavalry, not committing to any bad engagements. And also defending the Hell Cannon here from these Horse Archers, who really should be shooting the Hell Cannon crew. I don't know, I guess Hell Cannons are unbreakable. It's actually pretty hard to get the crew off, but possibly you could destroy the Hell Cannon itself with enough shots. Maybe not with just one Horse Archer, but anyways, nice Searing Doom here. Absolutely brutal. Such a fan of that spell against traditional heavy cavalry. As, yeah, the Khorne Cavalry themselves are going to slam in. We do see the Blizzard get popped here. Knights of the Brazen Throne. A few of those models get contact, which will be enough to frostbite the entire unit, but still most of them make it out of that without taking too much damage. They're also Khorne, of course. That magic resistance, spell resistance will help them significantly not take too much damage, but can't really protect the Horse Archers for too much longer, so they are the Hell Cannon from the Horse Archers. They are gonna get run down. Marauders also getting blasted there. Similar to Searing Doom, that Hellstorm gonna do some nice damage very efficiently over time, especially. But Kislev surviving so far pretty well. Griffin Legion have been taken out. Skull Crushers very surgically destroyed them with a nice precise strike. Knights of the Brazen Throne also taking some damage, but Skull Crushers staying on the move. Not getting too bogged down in those Kislev warriors. Arthuriel also very low right now. Needs to be careful. Let's take any Overwatch fire here. Yeah, Wolfhearts, I guess, used their net earlier as part of that ambush on Sarthoriel. He is definitely tempting fate right now as he gets close, trying to throw down a final transmutation on the Ice Witch. Ooh, did he overcast that? He did. Very risky move. Miscast would have probably blown up Sarthoriel and maybe finish off his leadership. Maybe not, but regardless, Horse Archers get absolutely crushed by Crushers there. More Searing Dooms also being used. Sarthoriel just trying to dump out his magic, I guess, before he gets killed, which is definitely a way to go here. But the Wolfheart's still alive for the time being. Do they have another net charge? They do, so Sarthoriel's got to be super careful. It's probably off cooldown right now. Odinov's Brawler's also lurking. Plenty of leadership there still. Knights of the Brazen Throne, though, in a position to maybe charge in support there. Yeah, Wolfhearts decided to nope out. I don't know if they actually have that ability off cooldown, to be fair, but definitely need it now more than ever as the Ice Witch gets rushed down. Fireblood's going to get procced on her. Swords of Chaos, Knights of the Brazen Throne moving through. Skull Crusher staying on the move, going to charge those things literally in the woods, just actually emerging from the woods. Joke really isn't going to get ill today, to be honest, but yeah, in the background, Arthuriel actually finishes off the Ice Witch. It's going to be a pretty good dagger to Kislev, although Warriors of Chaos kind of teetering on the edge right now as this Skull Crusher finally is broken. Odinov's Brawlers delivering a final blow there before they themselves are finally blown apart by the Swords of Chaos. Knights of the Brazen Throne following up quickly from behind, all of which are quite weak, but ammo's running out for Kislev. Yeah, looks like these Armored Cossars completely out of ammunition here. The Akshina's Ambushers, Regiment of Renown, running for the hills, probably won't come back. Odinov's Brawlers also in their last stand, definitely will shatter here. So, the lack of ranged units and the lack of mobility now for Kislev is going to be a big problem. They've still got a tiny bit of mobility left in these Things of the Woods, the Horse Archers as well, but it's going to be tough to stop Chaos from cycle charging. And pretty decisive blob force here. Arthuriel charges directly into the middle of three the Kislev warriors. Gets a nice charge in, unleashes a Searing Doom for good measure. Immediately disengages, just does a ton of damage on the charge without taking too much damage in response. Was pretty risky there. Horse Archers have a tiny bit of ammunition poking at Sarthoriel right now. He's down about 1,000 HP, 1,100 right now. Not great, but only a couple volleys left here from these Horse Archers, which we don't really have enough models to finish the job, so yeah. Also tricky to hit Sarthoriel as he's diving to the ground or taking off, to be honest. Let's see, Sarthoriel blocks the staff on the ground. Another Searing Doom from him. Might even friendly fire himself a tiny bit with this. Gets out of the area of effect. And leadership of the Cossars just under significant punishment, not able to hold. Fire Blood being popped. The two units that still have it available here, Armored Cossars and Kislev Warriors, probably will tear out as soon as that drops. Knights of the Brazen Throne, of course, do cause terror, as does Sarthoriel, and that's all that's left. Well, Swords of Chaos as well, I guess. Which the Guardian is probably coming in pretty clutch here, helping to stave off these, like, kind of small little chip damage hits from these various units. So very cool to see the Swords of Chaos actually get to do their Guardian thing of guarding nice Legendary Lord. Yeah, unfortunately, Sarthoriel, I don't think ever has a chance of getting the Boris treatment. He is a creative assembly creation, after all, and was just created to be the villain of Total War Warhammer 1. You can believe it, way back 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago. Yeah, crazy to think, been that long, but who knows? Maybe, never say never. There's a small chance, I guess, we get Sarthoriel playable as like a true Legendary Lord at some point, but that would require Games Workshop's approval and probably some finagling. But anyway, speaking of finagling, angling? I don't know. How are you supposed to say that? Who even knows? Regardless, The tricky finish from Skarbrand here as he's getting some nice, precise micro on these cavalry charges here. Knights the Brazen Throne, Swords of Chaos. Arthuriel just trying to clean up what's left of Kislev leadership, swing this battle back in their favor. Another Searing Doom. They hit a bunch of these units. There's some random Marauders that came back to help as well. Extra bodies for the Grinder here, helping to clean things up. I think that's victory for the Warriors of Chaos. I think that's basically army losses. Things in the woods do come back briefly, it looks like. Maybe trying to rally here a little bit, but I'd imagine Swords of Chaos will shut them down. They're not going to take that engagement, though, obviously, with a bunch of Kislevit warriors nearby, so Chaos still gonna have to actually play the game a little bit here. Not just going to walk away with free win. But Brazen Thrones can just tear out units off on their own, and that will lead to army losses in and of itself. So there you go. Fun one for sure. Big thanks to Skarbrand for putting that one up in the XMT Discord. Fun game for sure against Raised. Absolutely down to the wire, honestly. Absolute scrap. And yeah, it's nice to be Scorn Elite Cavalry under the command of Skarbrand. Although you are most certain to die, you are going to have a great time in the process, and most certainly will be rewarded with lots of skulls in the afterlife or whatever it is. No, more like you're providing skulls for Khorne. But anyway, okay, caught up in semantics. Arthuriel also just such an excellent lord, such a powerhouse multiplayer. Really excellent all the way around. For Raised here, pretty good build construction. All the Kislevit warriors are going to pay for themselves. Armored Kossars, one of them gets just absolute mad value on their pistols. The Streltsy, nice pick here actually, despite getting just blasted by that Hell Cannon and magic and everything else. They themselves were still able to get some very good value, basically. But yeah, more than paying for themselves. Akshida's ambushers, the net was nice, but he wasn't quite able to finish off Arthuriel, which was ultimately a big issue. And then, yeah, just losing the cavalry engagement at the beginning ended up, in the long run, being pretty decisive, because that's really the only element of Race's army that didn't work well here. It's just that the cavalry kind of got smashed there. And credit to Skarbrand, I mean, good target prioritization, you know, taking out the missile units, taking out the cavalry and mobility, allowed himself to cycle charge the infantry in the late game. Definitely what he needed to do here. Very, very risky build for sure when you go with this much expensive mobility, but made it work without any healing. Definitely impressive. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.